Okay, everyone. Welcome to today's stream. Now, usually we start off with a joke or something like that, but with the events of what's happened, I just want to say something really quick. Last night, the ex Prime Minister of Japan, the Right Honorable Mr. Shinzo. Ooh, sorry. Oh, I had my own feedback in my ear. Sorry about that. So I'll restart. Last night, the ex Prime Minister of Japan, the Right Honorable Mr. Shinzo Abe, was assassinated in a lone wolf attack. The panel and I would like to pay our respects to his wife, Aki Abe, and the Emperor, the previous Emperor Akihito, and the current Emperor Naruhito, and to all the people of Japan, we give our respects to. Now, on to the fun. Dalek, you're a toaster. Get out. Um,
Very.
What? He's not a toaster. He's not
I
a
am-
Cylon.
I am not a toaster.
okay, so, what did everyone think of the episode? Because I have more goods than bads, so let's start. What did you not like about this episode? John, I'll start with you, bud.
Well, honestly, not a whole lot. I thought it was the excellent episode from start to finish.
Oh, it was. Dalek?
Well, the problems I had with it are only really small problems. I wasn't a fan of any of the stuff between Charlie and Isaac, not because I just thought that was like, what the hell? All this is doing is just reinforcing the fact. Okay, we get it. She hates Isaac. She'll never forgive him. And then
I don't think so. I think that they're pushing this so hard. I think she is going to forgive him.
and then they had to, and then they just of course they just had to throw in there out of nowhere that she like confesses her love for this girl, for this woman that she lost. I was like, oh, she's a lesbian as well, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to say something, and Dalek, I know you may disagree with me, but I'm still your friend, even if you hate me. Please don't abandon me. I had no problem with her being a lesbian. That didn't bother me.
When she first told the story about her friend, I wondered if that's where they were going to go with that.
Yeah.
But that was but it's just so typical and eye-rolling.
I know, but the problem is with these things is statistically there will be some of the crew and cast in that who would be like not lesbian or gay or whatever. But nowadays it's when they do. You know what? Echo, your band. Fuck you, Echo. Go right to hell. Boom.
You know, it didn't bother me because they haven't been pushing it all season. We're in episode 6, and this is the first we found out about it. Now, they may have alluded to it, as John mentioned in episode 1, but they haven't been pushing every single episode. Oh, I'm a lesbian. Nice to meet you type thing.
Yeah.
Like other shows will do. So
it wasn't as heavy-handed.
It's not a point of her character that she is lesbian.
Yeah, she's a lesbian, but it's not her personality. If you get what I mean.
Okay, you're right. They didn't start out by her simply stating that.
From this point forward, if they say in every episode that she's a lesbian, then we got a bit of a problem here. But right now, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
Now I'm going to go to you, Brainy.
Okay, so they're not going. They're not going Bill Potts on us here.
Hopefully not.
But Dalek, I can see why you are. You can be annoyed, and I do still.
It would just because I'm so sick and tired of gay characters forced into everything. It would be so refreshing if we had a show which had no gay characters.
But I'm going to move. We're going to move on from this, okay? Specs. What did you not like about this?
Not a whole lot. This was a fantastic episode. I've been going on and on Twitter about how I thought this is the best thing we've gotten out of television sci-fi since Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that good.
This was honestly a really good episode. Now we'll start talking about the episode. So basically, they bring back the MacGuffin from the first season, the time ray, the big blue cone device.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, they're attacked by the Kalon, Dalek's first cousins. He invited them to a wedding once, but they wouldn't leave. But what did you guys think of the surprise Kalon attack? I liked it. To me, it gives a reminder that, yeah, even though we are having fun and that there is still a big bad out there.
That's true. Yeah.
I wonder how they found out. Now, I suppose they could have been monitoring community. Well, it's possible. They could have also been monitoring communications. They were in contact with Earth Central.
Mm-hmm. Which makes complete sense. And so far in the poll, 71% of my comments did like this episode, and 29% turtle.
Nice.
Well, at least there are no dislikes.
Oh no, there is one, but I blocked him because he was acting like a child.
Okay. Got
it. So Gordon goes down because the device was overloading, right? So he decides to shoot this with his gun, and this is when everything goes into shenanigans territory. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't, and I think that it may have opened the door to more possibilities of more Gordons. Because did you see all the different Gordons?
I did, yeah, and it made me wonder. Well, are there more than one timeline that had been created from this?
I think there was. Honestly, but when he went back in time, what did you think of their solution? Hey, pop culture, good to see you, man. What did you think of their solution and them talking about the fact that to get to there, they get a message from the past saying that Gordon had been sent into the past about 400 years. And he was there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
If I remember right, the message was sent 3 months after he got there.
Yeah, it was 6 months, and then they found him in the they found him in the history books where it said that he passed away at the age of 96.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that? Of him making before we actually go into it, of him making footsteps and getting noticed?
Well, as I mentioned, I think he was under extreme conditions there. I mean, how long can you hide from society? Do you let yourself die because of that? I don't know.
John?
I mean, it's a tough choice. I'm not exactly sure what I would do in his position. Because I know you're not supposed to violate the timeline, but like you said, you're just going to live as a hermit for the rest of your life. That's not very appealing either.
Now, the mere fact that they went back to get him changed history.
It did.
Too. So,
Dalek, if you don't mind,
I know they try to
Go ahead.
As much as they try to minimize changes, the mere fact that they were there, such as like getting the bikes, interacting with the realtor, that changed history.
You don't know if that commission of that time, because she was taken out, that commission would have affected or saved her business. Thank you,
True.
thanks sci-fi so much.
Now,
you don't know
now
what.
as it turned out, they went back even further to get him, and that should have wiped out any changes that they made 10 years in
Which
the
made
future.
the paradox, because where did they get the if they weren't there in the first place, right? Where did they get the fuel from? You know what I mean? That fuel should have disappeared.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Blending in, I understand. Getting married and having kids is where he definitely crossed the line. This I agree with. Now, before I go to Dalek, because Dalek, I'm not ignoring you.
Now
right?
There is a possibility that they could have gotten more fuel when they jumped back 10 years.
No, I know that, but I'm saying the fuel that they had should have disappeared.
That's what I mean. It could have disappeared, and they could have gotten more.
Oh man, I didn't think of that. There's another plot hole.
So, I think in a way what Gordon did was actually smart. Think about it, right? If you want someone to know, hey, because all we got was, hey, I'm in this place at this time, right? But you need them to know exactly where you are, because just say for talk's sake, you don't know if it degraded. How do you make people know where you are? History books. You get your name into the history books, whatever way possible.
Of course, the problem there is, what if you change something sufficiently that your future no longer comes to exist, and therefore there's no way to look for you?
That is a problem, but it's also a risk. But I mean, because what Gordon did in a way was kind of smart, but having the wife and the kids, as they said, broke a lot of laws. Now, Dalek, you did speak to Captain Cockney Spock about timelines.
I did, yes. I did.
So, what was said?
This morning. Well, basically, I explained that would like how the time travel was a real in the whole episode was just a big mess, because I mean, if they had one of the things I said was, if they had records of his of his life in 21st century Earth, leading all the way up to his death, why did they not already know that he got married and had a family?
That is true.
Yeah, why did it take them actually going back in time themselves to find that out?
The thing is, and this might be a weird thing to even comprehend or think of. What if said event did not exist in the timeline until it happened?
Isaac kind of alluded to that. And Lamar.
He said that he was there for that. They are at the branch of several timelines, and each one of them is basically deciding on what happens with their decision. Like, did they rescue Gordon? Did they leave Gordon? What happens? So, I think we may have seen two possible timelines. So they end up using the butt plug of doom, as I'm going to call it. Okay. Yes, that is right. So when they use the butt plug of doom to go back into time to 10 years after. Now, this is the first problem I had, and the first problem that they had. So they arrived 10 years later than they should have arrived. Now, if I was the captain, I would have said, scan for the fuel we need. We're going to forget about Gordon completely. Right? We're going to make another jump. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, because if they that's a good point. Because if they arrived in they were at the wrong point point in time they were trying to get to, why did they go and look for him then? They should have.
Because I think within their thing, they did not know if they could even go back again. Like, to get there, it
wouldn't have much of a story either.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is true. So we find out that Gordon is a pilot and he's fitting in really well to the past.
Well, he was he was a bit he was a bit of an aficionado on the 21st century to begin with. So
he is, I think we'll agree, the Tom Paris of the Orville.
He's the Tom Paris of the Orville, exactly.
And
yeah, there are similarities. Yeah.
Yeah. So when he's back in the past, we see that he's a pilot, so he's earning good money and everything. And then we find out that he's there and he's married to Laura. And then comes the issues, the kids.
Yeah, he has a son and another baby's on the way.
Yeah. What did you think of what they did? Of the choice?
I think what they did was
kind of fucked up.
It was very cruel what they did.
Yeah. John?
I know it comes off as harsh, but ultimately I think they did the right thing because who knows what kind of effect it could have had on the timeline if they had just left Gordon here to live out the rest of his life.
Yeah. We know from the picture that Gordon had when he passed away, one of his kids died because it said he was survived by his son Edward and his 2 granddaughters. Right? So, but the thing is, you don't know who their descendants are in that future. Like, who their descendants became or anything like that. And as it was pointed out, Gordon could even be his own descendant.
And what if there's children Laura would have had with somebody else if Gordon wasn't there? And who knows if they're not present in the timeline, what effect that would have.
Exactly. 1 sec now. So Pop Culture says there was no reason for them to go back to his house a second time and traumatize his family. Yeah, that is true. That was kind of a dick move. Hey, how come you? Good to see you, man. It says, I would have told Gordon that they were going back the extra 10 years once. I saw that he was happy. Oh, he wouldn't have told Gordon. Yeah. I think what they were trying to do was I don't think they thought they had the ability to go back another 6 months. Right? Because they were going to use that to go back. Because remember when they went back in time, the butt plug of shame burnt out?
Yeah.
I think they knew that was going to happen. And they were going to use that to go back.
Didn't get that impression at all. Because we didn't find out that it had burnt out until they got back to the Orville with Gordon.
Yeah. But this is just my thinking that maybe they did or maybe they didn't, but they kind of knew something was going to happen, so they were saving that, like with the power requirements and everything for it, to use it, like, because it got burnt the fuck out, as it was, and yeah. So that's what I think, and the fact that they were taking a 10 years older Gordon was a bit weirder because Gordon, that means Gordon would die 10 years faster. That's 10 years without flying the ship, 10 years without doing everything that Gordon's doing now.
Yeah, because I think we could, because really the whole idea of taking that version of Gordon, that older version of Gordon, back to their time in the first place,
Hey, Sherry!
It's just why? I mean, it's just
I don't think they were thinking about going back 10 years more at that point.
No.
I think they had the problem of the fuel, and they thought, well, if we're going to go down to Earth, we're going to get Gordon too.
Yeah, we're going to minimize the power consumption. But then comes the choice.
That's what it was. That's how it started out. They were they just arrived in that time, 2025, and so they thought, well, look, we're here. Gordon's here. We'll just grab him.
Yeah. I think that was the thinking.
I kind of love the fact that they brought Laura back. In a way, Gordon did get the girl. Hey, Bird! What's that? Bird!
Kapla Bird.
Yeah. Kapla.
Wait, I'm still on. Give me one. Guys, you talk. I'm going to be switching accounts because I want to send Bird a message.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that was the thinking. They were there on Earth. They had to go down to Earth. They thought, well, we had to get the fuel. We might as well get Gordon as well. And, I think that also they thought we have to be upfront with Gordon. We have to tell him what's going on, what we're thinking, and find out why he did what he did. Because they already knew that he was a pilot and he lived to 90 some years old. And what do you think, John?
He should have pop culture. But the problem is that's a lot easier before nowadays. It's kind of hard to change your identity. But the thing is, he had no identity as it was.
Yeah, he didn't. And I wonder how he got his identity. It was pretty modern times, 2015 when he gets there. And
my reasoning is maybe because he still had his devices on him. Maybe because he could have said, "Oh yeah, this is who I am." Showed him the tags and everything like that, or maybe he hacked his way in because we know that they can get into computers and shit.
That's possible.
I gotta point this out. I'm glad that in this episode, despite they were basically in the modern day or slightly ahead of the modern day, they did the bashing of our time was kept to a bare minimum,
which is good. It was really good to see.
And they didn't bash anything specific, which is good as well.
There was one thing that I'm like, it's a modern thing. When she said, I knew you were from the future. It's like, okay, why didn't you bring it up beforehand? But okay.
Laura mentioned the pandemic, but she just said it happened. She didn't. That's all she said. She just simply said it happened.
Yeah.
She just simply said.
And it sounds like it's gone by then, so hopefully it is gone by 2025.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest, it's endemic now, so pretty much it is gone. It's become another bug that people get.
Not according to the media, but
the media can suck my ass. So, and I would like to welcome to the panel Bird of Prey. Hey, Bird.
Hello, world. It's Bird over time.
Okay, Bird. Opinions on the episode.
What was your question?
What's your opinion on the episode?
I think it was the best episode of the season.
Fantastic.
Easily.
Yes.
And they had really good episodes this season, in my opinion.
Thomas Potts, good to see you, man. Says, I thought in the episode about a girl, Gordon was a moron when it came to history. He isn't exactly a history buff, per se, but I mean, he's more of a nerd about history, like we are about Star Trek, and Captain Cockney Spock is about Back to the Future. But I think that pretty much.
He clearly has his strong points.
He does.
Well, I was going to say he knows about this time period specifically because of the cell phone.
Yeah,
that's true.
True.
Well, yeah. So I'm pretty sure he only knows about 2015, but none further. Like he knew about the pandemic because we know about the Black Death. Show the history books.
Unless you fell in love with somebody from 1345 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever the Black Death was. I guess I'm showing my age.
No. You're right. It was the 1300s.
Oh, okay. So, certainly after getting into a relationship with this woman, it makes sense he maybe read about the 2015s and what was going on.
I think that alternate Gordon, let's just call him 2025 Gordon. I still think that he had his little computer on him because he had his gun on him. So who's to say that he didn't have anything else on him?
No, he definitely. I'm sure he had his stuff on him. Because otherwise they would have had to pick that stuff up when they took him.
And as well, how else would he have sent out that message?
Very true. Yeah, you'll have had to been
I
had to do that somehow.
Kind of wondered how he sent the message.
Yeah, because we know from different scenes and snippets that they do have those scanners on them at all times. Like they keep them in their little pockets.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite clever that he calculated how quickly the signal had to get there to, get to the nebula just at the right time.
Which goes to show that Gordon is smarter than we give him credit for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, Dalek, there is hope for you yet. I'm only messing with you, bud.
I know you are.
But you see, what did she think of what he did? Of like pulling the gun on his friends and everything like that?
Well, I think
he had higher priorities. He had his family. He had a wife that he loved. He had his son and an unborn child. He was protecting them. They were his priority at that point.
Yeah, I think he was just doing what any decent guy in that situation would do. He's protecting his family. He's protecting his wife, his kids.
Now,
because that's all he cares about.
I really don't blame him for what he did. I think it was Ed was out of line when they knew he could have just picked him up. Why would you even pick him up 10 years later if you can do this again?
Well, Bert,
I
don't know if you were here
along those lines yet.
At the beginning of the stream, I don't know if you were here, but I said that what I would have done if I was the captain. Let's say for talk's sake, we were going for you, Bert, and we were coming back for you in 10, 15 years, right? Ahead of where we left you off. I'd say, Dalek, Professor, go down, get us that fuel, right? And I would not communicate with you in any means whatsoever. And then when I get back, I'd go back again. But Brainy Spec said then there'd be no episode.
Right. Also, what I would say is that this is very risky what they're doing right here. If they try it again, they might fail. So and if they fail, then he's still trapped there in the past. So maybe they want to at least try to grab him now. I mean, yes, he's still been there for 10 years, but it would be better than leaving him there indefinitely.
Yeah.
But if they grab him now and then try to grab him again, and they do, then what do they do to the 10-year one?
Here's a question for you. Do you think the 10-year Gordon disappeared?
It's a good question.
Because at the end
I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so.
I choose to believe they still live.
Because at the end of the episode, it zoomed into the family photo, to the baby photo, right? And it lingered on the baby photo with zero changes whatsoever, and then it cut away to something else. I don't think they disappeared. At all. I think that they still exist. I think that they...
Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
At the end of the episode, I've watched it twice now, but at the end of the first viewing, I said to myself, this is screaming for a second follow-up episode. They have to do another episode on this storyline.
Thrice in a lifetime.
I'm going to give these people wrenches. You get a wrench.
Everybody gets a wrench.
Pretty
Not
much.
everyone. Not
Can
everyone.
I get a wrench?
Oh, you have a wrench, Bird.
Oh, I do. Can I get 2 wrenches?
I can
Why
throw
do you
one
need
at you.
2?
Inflation.
One for each arm, of course.
Inflation.
Orville knew. Actually, so they've released the episode names, right? And the last episode has me intrigued. The Road, not. Oh no, that's fucking.
That's season 2.
Yeah. Season 3 is called Future Unknown. That's
What
the finale's
season?
name.
The
Really?
last episode.
See, I'll say it just for you, Bird. Season 3. You bastard. Hey, Machi. Good to see you, man. But it's called Future Unknown. I think we're going to maybe see something.
Well, clearly they're going to have to leave it open because they
Of
don't
course.
know if there's going to be a 4th season yet. So,
But Bird, as an engineer, right? What do you
Yeah.
think of what Gordon did?
I think Gordon was pretty smart.
Yeah, send a message to the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of weird in that in the other 399 years that no other ship was in any position to detect it. I guess it's just lucky.
Well, space is huge.
I know, but
Just hold on now. How was it? How was there a season 3 since Bird of Prey said it was cancelled after season 2? Actually, it was in trouble. So, and
it
people
was
can be wrong.
canceled. I was correct.
It was.
And it was
It
picked
got
up.
it got picked up by
was
Disney
picked
after
up
the
by-
merger.
You thought
Yeah. Which was something
I thought it
speculated.
was. I thought this was a weak episode, the weakest episode so far, but enjoyed it generally. Okay, darn.
you thought this
Fair enough.
one was the weakest? Really?
Well, the motto of this show, of this stream, is to each their own, and we won't hate anyone for it unless you like The Last Jedi.
I thought episode 2 was the weakest, but was still a good episode.
I thought I think it was last week. No, not last week. It was the one with the where they were on that planet and we saw the aliens from the time divergent world coming back. I hated that fucking episode.
Yeah, that episode was just all over the place. It was a mess.
So Jill says, Lamar is the engineer. Yes, he is. And I think he should have gone to his quarters with Tala instead of getting down in the middle of engineering. Well, you know,
Sometimes.
he needed to spanner her wrench, if you know what I mean.
Sometimes the passion between two people is just so over the top that going back to their quarters would be would ruin the moment.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say for this episode, because I had this on for Farv, if you're watching, but Wolf Noises Hello.
What the heck does that have to do with this episode?
Lamar and Tala. Wolf Noises Hello.
Okay.
You made her go how-woo, like how-woo do you do? But yeah, I don't. I mean, but the thing is, the time dilation was fun. Jill says, but the power needed for it sounds astronomical. Yes, but at the same time, when they return, they're coming back to Earth, so they can easily be refueled and repaired. Thomas Potts says this episode did a lot more. It did have a lot more fun moments than the last few. It absolutely did.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Let's speak about the funnest of them all. Isaac and Chrissy. Right? I fucking love these two this episode.
Oh no, I am losing.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
The insemination has not occurred yet.
The bit in the scene in the bar. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was awesome.
So Chrissy and Isaac walk into the bar, and she basically bets the entire bar that if Isaac, Skinny, the actor who plays Isaac, that if he can defeat the strongest guy in the bar, that they will win the 2 bikes, right?
Yep.
And they're like, oh yeah, and what do I get? And she's like, whatever you want. Because she knows, like, Isaac is a sex robot. And
Isaac should have lost on purpose the first time. And she should have looked at him and like, why didn't you win? He's like, well, to make it look convincing.
Yeah, and then they should have stolen the bikes. That would have been fun.
Don't you understand what I would gave up or whatever? He's like, it was your choice.
But so they end up getting the
that
bikes.
been as good.
And my question is, how did they know how to ride the bikes?
Well, I think Isaac could figure it out pretty quick, but
I know that. I mean, Isaac's a robot, right?
There's the plot call for it.
Yeah, I know.
And Charlie is a pilot, so
yeah, but I mean, not every pilot can like ride a fucking motorbike. Vroom, vroom.
On their first
the first try.
Well, she wanted to get the bike, so it sounds like she knew how to use them.
Yeah,
she was just borrowing them. So
I mean, you know what? I'd honestly even put it down to, and this might sound stupid. Given this channel, it probably will. There might be futuristic motorbikes. Same principle.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Like, technically, a bicycle is a low-grade version of a motorbike. If you can balance yourself on a bicycle, you can balance yourself on a motorbike.
I thought she's supposed to be some kind of genius who can see in 4D and all that kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
It's funny how important seeing in 4G became this season.
It is. It's okay. Everybody from the future can drive any vehicles. We learned this from Picard. You're banned. For that, everyone chose Spanner and Alec.
We missed Picard by a year.
You know what would have been? I know this is going to sound so stupid. You know what would have been fucking hilarious? Just for reference, if they passed Patrick Stewart dressed like Picard while he was walking down the opposite side of the street while they were walking up the other side of the street. Or they passed Jerry Ryan and her girlfriend.
Oh my god.
That's true. They were in 2025.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. If they just like had them in the same type of costumes walking down and you just see them just walking up and they just look at each other and go on. That would have been hilarious.
Or the Borg Queen.
Hey, Darren, you want to come up now? You know what? I'm going to put this into the chat. Copy.
Yeah, Thomas says it's weird he didn't see ICE arresting everyone. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Darren, get your butt up here. And then when he comes up, I will delete that and pretend I never did it. Because I am professional.
Sure, Reverend. Sure.
It says the Invisible Man.
Well, we can't see you either.
Yeah, but you can see my icon. Hey, and welcome, Darren.
Hello.
Okay. So,
hello.
Greetings.
Welcome.
Greetings.
John DeMarco, the Dalek person, and Bird, and Professor Brainy Specs.
Yes. Brainy Specs isn't allowed on because he's ugly, so he's invisible.
There he is.
Here I am.
We were happy when you were gone. So, Darren, what did you think and everything? Also, welcome to the panel.
I had a couple thoughts on the episode.
Okay.
It's interesting that we're used to, for example, on a show like Star Trek, for example, siding with the captain morally.
Yes.
In this one, I was kind of shocked that Mercer had so little compassion for somebody that was basically his best friend prior to the serious tone that this season started with. And, for him to not show very much empathy at all to him was really kind of strange.
You know
You
what?
got me wanting to play devil's advocate. What would he show to somebody? Would it be any helpful to show mercy when the end result has to be the same?
Well, one of the things that I thought was rather odd is he comes over to Gordon's house with super strong security girl gal.
Yeah.
And then makes him think that they're going to take him. And then he says, no, we're going back to 2015 and taking him there. And it's like, well, why didn't you just go and do that instead of coming over to his house and telling him, by the way, his whole life is going to go away, and letting him, like, he left them in his family in that house holding each other, wondering what was going to happen. And it was almost like that scene was created to explain why they don't just take the whole family with them back to the ship.
This is going to sound, what they could have done, right, was brought the family from 2025, but leave Gordon. Okay? Yeah. Go back, collect younger Gordon and let them, because they're still the same family. And let them fall in love again and carry on. I know it sounds weird, but it would have corrected the timeline and taken out the paradox at the same time.
Wait a minute. What happens to the kids if he is taken from 2015?
They're a paradox. Yeah. They don't exist in time. Well, we know this.
Wait a minute. I thought you were saying they should take the wife and the kids from 2025 and go get Gordon from 2015 and put them together. Well, if 2015 Gordon never is there to be, participant in the creation of the kids go away.
Wait, are you saying that two people need to be there to be made out of kids? Dalek, did you know this?
I heard a rumor that's how babies are born, but I never really saw it myself. But I just thought that was very strange how they did that. And Mercer is usually such an affable presence that to see him, I mean, we're kind of expected from Kelly. Kelly's she's the bitch. She's the Major Kira from season 1 kind of character, right?
Yeah.
But for Mercer to be so, and when Gordon is talking about how, I thought this was kind of funny, the idea, I had to kill animals for food, and that's another little one of the many things they've done in this show that makes the Planetary Union not seem like the utopia that we've often been told the Federation is. And so, there were some interesting things in there. The standout for me though was seeing Isaac without, the actor, with his holographic disguise. And I'm thinking to myself, why doesn't he just continue to wear that for the rest of the shows and only show us his natural form once in a while? I mean, I actually like that actor. I mean, he has a very Data-like.
Now, I don't know did any of you pick this up. Did any of you see the kind of look on Chrissy's face change when Isaac looked at her with a human face?
Whose face?
Charlie.
Isaac.
Charlie.
When Isaac looked at... Charlie.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, we're not meant to like Charlie. Charlie's been a total, B word. I've already said the B word here, but she's been a total bitch since the beginning. But in this, her story was fine. We understood it, and all of a sudden in this episode, she sort of outs herself as a lesbian, and that did absolutely nothing for the character. They could have kept it ambiguous.
You didn't pick up on that the first time they showed.
No,
well, I mean, girls are weird. They hold each other's hands and comfort each other, as friends and stuff like that. So I got the impression that they were just very good friends, like sister type that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that Charlie is so intensely angry and vicious all the time. She's just she out Kelly's Kelly, and I didn't think that brought anything new to the table or added any dimensions. I would have kept that ambiguous, but yeah, I mean, I did get a Major Grin today put out a video of where he took the scene where Charlie and Isaac go into the biker bar, but with the audio from Terminator 2 when the Terminator comes into the biker bar at the beginning of the movie, and puts Arnold's voice in there, and it was kind of funny. But the way they film it does look like there was some reminiscent shots, as they were entering the bar and all the bikers turning and looking at them and things.
I was reminded of that scene as well.
Same. It would have been funny if Charlie just looked at Isaac and said, "Give me all your clothes." What? Never mind. That would have been funny.
Yeah.
But what I thought was funny was the whole stuff of them in the house, in the realtors section.
Right. Yeah.
Those weapons that they have, can I borrow them? I've got some home remodeling that needs doing. Just saying.
I did think it was kind of convenient that it matched the floor when they were done.
Not only did it match the floor, they were basically rewinding time nearly. You could hear the ground going back and it matched the floor. So for those of you who don't know, they go to this house, right? And the house is a realtor's up for auction, a show home. It's empty, and they show up as a couple, right? And it's like, oh yeah, we just got married, we're a nice young couple and everything. Mm. So when they show up, they start looking around the house, talking as a young robot and girl do. And then they go and they're like, oh, can we look around? And they go down into the basement. Now, my question is, how the fuck did the realtor not know that there was construction going on downstairs?
No idea.
The construction is just a laser drill.
Yeah.
How much noise does a laser drill make?
But Bert, the question is, she was in a house with no other noise, no radio, no TV, nothing. Pure silence. Right?
Yes,
she would have heard that.
A light makes no noise.
She probably heard him talking, though. I mean, I don't know. It just maybe there was an explanation they just did.
She could have heard them talking, but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, overhear somebody talking through a floor and a ceiling. You don't know.
I don't know. For the Americans, I don't know if you're in a house. Can you hear someone talking in the basement? We don't have basements.
Generally,
here.
No.
I was surprised. I'll be honest. I was surprised the house in California even had a basement.
Yeah, that's surprising.
That was surprising to me because generally speaking, they're all cement slabs.
That's something.
Yeah.
But for houses that do have full basements, you generally can't hear talking through. I don't know. Our construction is just different. Like my house right now has a basement. I wouldn't hear people talking.
You're not meant to tell where your victims are. That ruins the fun of it.
That's something that's always been strange to me. American houses, they have basements. British houses don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also have to realize, Dalek, that when American houses have basements, those basements are also used for shelter in the events of hurricanes or tornadoes or relatives you don't want to see.
It's also where you put your furnace. If you like in Wisconsin, all the houses for the most part, with very few rare exceptions, have a basement and a furnace.
Mike. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I was done. I mean, you'll have people living in mobile homes and sometimes cement slab, ranches and things like that. But there was a time when every single house built, figuratively speaking, had those two things.
I mean, sometimes Yeah, well, I mean, well, sometimes I think really much older houses might have a cellar or some British houses might have a cellar or something.
My cousin, in his basement, that's where his laundry room is.
Yeah, laundry room. That's another
And
thing.
he's also got like beds and like I don't know why he never told me. I should ask, but he's got like military cots down there and a shitload of food and water stored up.
Oh, he's got a barracks, like a bunker.
Yeah, he's a redneck.
Well, you don't have to be a redneck to have those things, but I mean, yeah, it's
he is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It tends to help. So Thomas says, yes, Bird of Prey hasn't found out that I have spies in his basement for 2 years. Yeah, exactly. That's the portal to Kroga. So, but Darren, what did you not? We were saying earlier on, what didn't you like from this episode? Oh, and what would you give it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or turtle?
I put turtle because I didn't know what that meant, but I couldn't give you a yes or a no or an up or a down on it. It wasn't to me it was the weakest one so far, but it did give us a good performance by the actor who plays Gordon Malloy.
Hey, Iron Wolf, good to see you, man.
I agree with you there, Darren. Fabulous performance.
I did like the Isaac actor and. There was that. I think again, a lot of things just didn't seem to work for me. In the beginning of the show, I understand that there are people who didn't, you have to kind of treat every episode like it's somebody's first, and that, some people, because this episode had a lot of harkening back to previous episodes. You had the time machine, you had the cell phone that he had of that woman. Him singing the song. This is the second episode in a row where a cast member has sung a song. But I think that you could have done without the singing of the song in the beginning or the cell phone.
I think that's right. Yeah, the party scene at the beginning. I mean, as soon as that scene was over, it was like, okay, that was pointless.
Yeah, it was just a party. I mean, it's nice to open up. I mean, it's nice to open up an episode of the Orville with a party. I mean, they've opened up other episodes with them doing karaoke and things like that. So that was fine, but it's just that I think it was spread on a little bit too thick. And then the other thing was, obviously Mercer being such a, dispassionate guy towards his friend, and that ridiculous scene where he tells him that they're going to go back to 2015 and get him.
Yeah. They made an allusion to Gordon having to think about, the 21st century, the cell phone, the woman, and that took him to that time frame when he was time traveled.
They could have said that in dialogue too. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sex.
Well, I just think that the party reinforced that. So I thought the party was necessary, in my opinion.
Yeah,
maybe not even the party.
It was just the double layered thing there. He's playing the song that she wrote, right?
Yeah,
and so there's that. But okay, you guys remember there was an episode of TNG where Riker wakes up and it's like 14 years later in the future. He's the captain of the Enterprise. He's got gray in his beard, and there's computer problems, and he has a son, but nobody can tell him who the mother is, and then finally he gets a video image of the family together, and he recognizes Minuet. Now, Minuet, they didn't show you any flashbacks. They didn't go into any exposition about who Minuet was, but longtime fans who saw the episode 1 or whatever that was know that Minuet was not a real person, and so when he saw that Minuet was his wife, that was the killer. I think that they could have done something like that. TNG didn't weigh you down at all with trying to explain to anybody who may not know who Minuet was. It was a couple of lines, and that was it. Now, with Orville, you've got a different format of a show. They have this season. Their episodes are longer, and I think this was one of those episodes that may have suffered a little bit from that, because you've got writers that aren't used to writing more than 44 minutes worth of television. And, again,
what was this, an hour?
I like. Yeah, it's like 54. It's like 54 minutes, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, because
No,
they're
it was
usually
a little
like
over an
writing.
hour. It was like
Yeah,
an
it's an
hour
hour.
and 8 minutes.
An
The
hour
other
and-
was like
it was
45
an-
minutes.
An hour and 9 minutes, I think this episode
Yeah.
was.
So
Okay.
the Orville used
It
to
was
be
about
45 minutes with commercial breaks.
Yeah, I mean, I like the premise. I mean, I liked the show, but I thought it was weak. The weakest one so far. As far as what I did like it, I've always wondered what it would be like, because we hear about this. Like it was an idea that they kind of toyed with in First Contact. The idea, what would the crew do, and they were gonna basically the crew is gonna just go to this island off of New Zealand and live there, and in secret or whatever. And here's Malloy living like the Unabomber out there in a cabin, learning how to, kill and eat animals. And I kept thinking to myself, why didn't you just?
And
learn how to
apparently,
fish?
in the Union now, killing animals is illegal.
Oh yeah, it's morally wrong to them, and I find that interesting. I mean, I understand that in certain countries, like Norway, for example, killing a wolf is worse than killing a person in terms of the penalty under the law and stuff. I mean, I'm a little bit exaggerating, but
Then
but
what does the furry constitute?
what's that?
What happens if I kill a furry?
Oh, I don't know. Probably nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
They get
but
rewarded.
again, there's been a lot of hints that the Planetary Union isn't really a utopia, and I've kind of suspected for a long time, based on what I've seen in the Orville and also on some of Seth MacFarlane's other shows, that he's actually not exactly a closeted conservative, but he's a stealth conservative, because he'll show us a gay couple in the Mocklins, but then simultaneously he's telling us that this is these are aliens. It's not. It's outside the human experience, that kind of thing. Or he'll have the Krill, who are Satanists. I mean, they worship a deity that is unmistakably satanic in appearance, but then he'll throw in
Bortus had a religion, and it seemed to be peaceful.
Yeah, they'll throw in other little elements and things like that, and mix things up
Darren,
a little bit.
Question: am I correct? Did Bortus during the Juliac episode mention his religion before? Because he said there are people on my planet who believe that you're born lucky and everything, and then he mentioned the elements, like the worship of elementals, nearly. Okay.
I'll probably have to rewatch that. But,
yeah. So Jill says, it wasn't, because I know that she added this in a little bit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't morally wrong in Star Trek, but was against the law or required to follow if you wanted to be in the Federation. But they only have 300 members. That is true. But
it wasn't looked at. I mean, you had a situation, for example, when Kern came on the Enterprise in TNG, and they're trying to feed him roast chicken or roast turkey, I think it was, and he was too bland, he didn't like it, and then he was told it was replicated meat. But then Captain Picard had caviar. Now, anybody who knows what caviar is, it's the unhatched egg of anyway, it's caviar is depending on who you talk to, alive when you eat it. And so Captain Picard had caviar. He was eating something he was an animal product, basically. So I mean, this idea, I think that the Federation didn't, kill animals for food. I mean, I don't know. They seem to wax and wane on that topic, depending on the writer and the show and stuff. I mean, you can't tell me that at Cisco's restaurant they served replicated.
No, actually,
and,
no, because Darren, if you remember, remember when we were first seeing Cisco's dad in the restaurant, he said, and someone mentioned that, wait, this is real food, and he's like, oh yeah, he goes, everyone prefers real food.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
And we do see them coming out with a steak.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously Worf preferred, to go out and hunt and stuff like that. I mean, they showed him doing that
Yeah.
on several occasions. And we know that Riker caught fish in Alaska. He probably ate them,
Yeah, those on eggs.
On eggs, obviously. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
squared.
that some people wrote that, especially in the first season. I think that was what, and then the other thing that I also think is that people mistake what Starfleet does for what all of humanity does in Star Trek.
Oh, that
Starfleet. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Starfleet is pretty much the military wing of the Federation, and even within the Federation, in real life, there's a load of different opinions.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense that they would use replicator food on a ship because it's just more efficient, and you don't have to store a whole bunch of food that might go bad, things like that. But then when you get to the to Earth, you've got restaurants that serve the real stuff, and Picard even said at one point with, I think it was his brother, he said that synthol and replicated food just increases your appreciation for the real thing.
Yeah, do you remember in Enterprise, what's his name now? Merriweather was mentioning about cheesecake? Or what, strawberry cheesecake, I believe?
I don't remember that. No, I do remember, of course, Trip always talking about pan-fried catfish.
Yeah, but when he was talking that, he said that his mother would also give him, like, the strawberry something. Some sort of...
Yeah.
But he said that when he got back to Earth, he tried the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he tried it, he said it didn't taste the same.
Right.
So, which means that they are eating food. But we've run for an hour, and it is past, like, my bedtime.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it is 2:17 in the morning, and I've got 3 phone calls to make to American relatives, which is so fun.
Okay.
Darren, since it's your first time here, is there anything you'd like to share or anything you'd like to say or things like that? And would you like to come back next week from the beginning?
Sure.
Of the stream.
Sure, I'll come back.
Sweet.
Sure.
Yeah, I followed you on Twitter.
Awesome.
But is there anything you'd like to say or anything like that?
I have a special request, Potato.
Sure, go ahead.
Could you say the line, "Hi, chai chai, frosted Lucky Charms, magically delicious"?
Damn it.
I'm only kidding. Don't say it. Don't you ever say that.
I will not say that. God damn it. So, Jin Wang says, thanks a lot, guys. Now I have to get some fish for not craving. You're very welcome. Meanwhile, thanks to the guys. Oh, Darren, I've got a group on Twitter. It's called The Network. Do you want to be added into it?
I'll be honest. The only reason I have a Twitter account is so I can enter contests.
No worries. So where'd be the best place to reach you?
Discord? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I'll start off with Darren. What's everyone's rating of the show? We'll go from Darren and then we'll go up and around. Okay.
What's your ratings? I would give this one a C+.
C. Okay. And out of 10?
I'm a harsh grader though. Out of 10, then I'd probably give it a 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Bird.
I still enjoyed it. It just it wasn't perfect. Yeah.
Bird, what about you, man?
I also would give a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Nice.
But again, this was my favorite episode of the year.
Yeah.
So far.
John, what about you?
Well, I like this episode very much. I'd probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. I just want to say real quick in defense of Ed and what he decided to do is maybe one of the reasons he was so firm on this is because of what happened last season when Kelly went back in time and basically the entire galaxy was destroyed. So he thinks
possibly
Gordon's taking risks with something like that happening again.
Oh, but the thing is, he wouldn't even remember the galaxy being destroyed. So we have a B-, and Bush's 7. Bortus eggs out of 10. So, Sporks, what would you give this? How many pop-up books out of Bibles would you give this?
What?
Okay, out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. Outside of Doctor Who, this has been the best sci-fi since DS9 and Babylon 5. It was just wonderful, just great.
Okay, Dalek, my friend, what about you?
Well, I can definitely say I liked this episode, but I didn't outright love it because it definitely had problems. I had problem with the time travel. I had problems with the whole thing with Isaac and Charlie, of course, and like I already mentioned that, and I had a bit of a problem with Ed just being a dick to Gordon.
Okay.
So, but overall, I did like this episode. So I think, like Bird of Prey and Darren, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Right.
I'll say one more thing about the time travel.
Okay.
I loved how they got back to their own time. That was a brilliant solution.
Okay,
that
so
was
before
fantastic.
I finish up, so at the end of the episode, the butt plug of doom has been destroyed. Dalek, I'm so sorry. So to get back to the future, what they decide to do is they basically take off the warp shield, right? Their shield that they use during the quantum bubble, but they still use quantum, right? They set up a marker on a star 200 light years away, and they quantum to that, which takes them 200 light years into the future, and quantum back to Earth, which takes them 400 years into the future.
Well, they didn't go FTL. They used the quantum.
No, they went
drive
close
to
to
get
it.
up
They
to
went
extremely close to the speed of light, which causes relativistic effects, which allows them to time travel into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant solution, brilliant, and it uses modern day physics to do it.
And they can do it anytime they want.
If they want to go into the future, but they can't use it to go backward.
Right, but let's say you're trying to escape or hide from somebody. You could jump a week ahead.
You could jump a year ahead.
Let's not go into Discovery territory, please.
No. Yeah, but I'm just saying what they could do is even if they're going through quantum, they could have that bubble break and end up in the future. Given the name of the last episode.
Darren, I know you didn't watch much Discovery, but that's what they did at the end of season 2 to hide from any possibility of that stupid control thing.
Yeah, they went
far into the future.
I'm just talking like a day into the future, so I'm not talking about like.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know that, but no, they wanted to hide from a sentient robot that wanted to become sentient. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
But so pinned in the comments right now is John's live stream for tomorrow. John, would you like to talk us through it?
Yes, thank you. On Saturday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel, we're hosting a Star Trek themed Jeopardy with Jeopardy board designed by Professor Brainy Specs. I take contestants from the audience, so invite anyone to come check it out and play the game with us.
Nice. Bird, you want to show yourself?
Not really.
Okay,
at this point, I don't really know what I'll be doing. So everything.
Well, even just your channel in general.
Check out BirdoPrey5.com for all your Birdo Prey 5 needs.
Yes, Darren, anything you want to show? Anyone or anything like that? Darren?
Sorry, I stepped away and had to take a. What was the question?
Is there anyone that you want to show? Any channels or anyone like that or anything like that you want to push?
Aside from the people here who have channels, I've been enjoying In Praise of Shadows. That's a channel here on YouTube that does short documentary style stuff, primarily horror films. So I mean,
Nice,
they don't need our endorsement, but that is
I
the one
would-
that pops in my head. Yeah.
I would
So-
also like to let the chat know that Tokyo Trekker is joining us next week as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're going to have a bona fide uwu on the channel. So,
Great.
Professor, you want to shield your crap?
It's not crap.
Okay. You want to shield your amazing, magnificent?
I co-host on 2 other channels on Sunday afternoons at 4:30 Eastern. If you like Star Trek, if you like quiz shows, be on a Question of Trek. It's Continuum Trek's channel, and we have a lot of fun, a lot of jokes, and a little quiz that goes with it. It's a little Star Trek quiz.
Fantastic.
And Mondays, I co-host another channel, History with R&R with Rambling Canuck. Check us out if you like history. We're looking for people who want to be on as guests. So if you have something you would like to discuss in history or about history, get a hold of me. I'm on Twitter and on Discord. We'll get you
Dalek?
scheduled.
Toaster Man. Oh, one sec. Yeah. So I know eating. It was a typo. I know. So Anti-Derivative Jill has a YouTube channel as well. Go and check her out. She's 2 subscribers away, guys. Now with me, she's 1 subscriber away from 180. So let's try. Guys, everyone go and subscribe to her. But speaking about people, Dalek, go on, do your thing.
You have
Do
180.
Hey, congratulations, Jill. Now you're up to 180. Dalek, you want to show yourself, bud?
It's always hard. It's always hard to really think what to say when I have to do this.
Want me to give it a whack?
Yeah, well, I have it. If you wouldn't mind, please.
Everybody, Dalek here is fresh on his feet. He's starting out. He's finding his feet. Everyone had to start somewhere. Basically, if you want to go just for a chat, open line style, he does open lines chats. So if you want to go there, talk about anything and everything, he's a good guy for that.
Anything and everything pop culture. That's my channel. Yeah.
Yeah, everything, and it's the same format as this, except he's open lines. So everyone is welcome on his channel. So go check out Dalek. His name is Dalek 451.
I might occasionally do reviews as well.
Yeah. But so go check out Dalek 451. He is there he is. Jill just posted it there.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much. Now, our panelist who's been missing due to personal stuff, Forvithia. He has wrote a book, The Forvithian Chronicles. Now, this book is about like centaurs, soldiers, all that stuff, and it's a brand new fantasy book by a brand new author. If you guys want to get a book that no one else has, just go check him out. He's a great guy. He's a vet. He's doing this to support himself and everything. So like, just go get his book, please. For every time someone buys his book, Dalek has 1 less spanner thrown at his head. So I'm going to thank everyone in the chat, everyone who watches, and I'm going to thank the panel, except for Dalek, because he's a spanner. No, I'm only messing, man. Well, I just want to... Go ahead.
One last thing. Can I just say, everyone, anyone out there who's not subscribed to my channel, can you please do so? Because I currently have 125 subs. Can you get me to 130, please?
Yes. If we get Dalek to 130, I get the correct puppy back. Please don't let it be in parts. I don't like assembling my puppies. So I just want everyone to remember Star Trek Orville. Good night, everyone.